The Footprints Conversation series feature discussions and insights from accomplished workplace and marketplace leaders and their experiences on key leadership principles. As believers, we are supposed to practice these biblical leadership principles in our workplace and marketplace to help us fulfill our calling. This week's Footprints Conversation is part 2 on partnership and synergy. Last week, our eminent experts helped us to address key questions about partnership, such as what does the Bible say about partnership? And how could we pursue partnerships in order to experience the intended benefits? This week, we will look at some intended benefits of partnership, including synergy. Let's welcome King David and King Jehoshaphat, our eminent panel with extensive experience in partnerships, to help us address these key issues about partnership and synergy with biblical lens.
We are happy to be here.
Last week I had a comment from an audience just after our conversation, and I promised I will ask the question before we get to what we are going to discuss this week. It's about what King Jehoshaphat said about the disastrous consequences of his partnership with King Ahab and King Ahaziah. Does it mean that the Lord wants us to go into partnership with only believers?
That's a great question. I don't think the Lord wants us to be in partnership with only believers. King Ahab and King Ahaziah were all Israelites and considered to be among the chosen people of the Lord, but they did not yield to the Spirit of the Lord to be used. On the other hand, you have non-Israelites like King Cyrus who yielded to the Lord to be used by him.
So, I guess it's more about the leanings of the heart, as in 2 Chronicles 16 verse 9. Anyone whose heart is loyal to him. Is that correct?
That's correct. God does not look at labels. He looks for those whose hearts are yielded to him. If your heart and that of your partners are yielded to him, you will all be guided by values and principles that will make your partnership successful. Why should you pursue partnerships that would bring disastrous consequences? The Lord sees beyond what we see. He also sees what is in the heart of a person. So, I guess it is always in our own interest to listen to the Lord who knows the outcome before you even enter the partnership.
Well-deserved applause. Now let's get to some of the benefits from partnership if done right according to biblical principles. Yes, King David.
Permit me to reference what my son Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 9 and 12. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, though one may be overpowered. 2 can defend themselves. This shows that there is mutual support, stability, strength, and a greater chance of bouncing back from crises or trouble when you are in the right partnership. This is true be it marital partnership or business partnership.
Can you explain further what a good return for their labor means?
Yes, a good return for their labor means that because the partners mutually reinforce the achievements of each other, they are able to improve or get more reward from the partnership efforts than what they could have achieved individually. That is to say, the return or the benefits from their combined efforts are greater than the sum of the parts of the benefits from their individual efforts.
Okay, so that is like synergy in contemporary terms. Synergy is where combined efforts, capacity, and resources of the partners are able to achieve collective outputs and impacts more than if they had operated individually. Can you help us to further understand the biblical views underlying synergy?
Sure, I will be glad to do that. The biblical view about synergy is very fascinating to me. Let's do some math here. If one person could chase 1,000 people, how many people could 2 persons chase?
If my arithmetic is not failing me, I will say 2 times 1,000 is 2,000? Is that right?
Yes, your brain is working right. Arithmetically, you are right. But in biblical terms, 2 persons will not chase 2,000, but will chase 10,000 according to Deuteronomy 32 verse 30. That is if the Lord is at the center of that partnership.
Amazing. That is beyond exponential. What a remarkable synergy and impact if the Lord is in the partnership.
Yes, and not only will 2 persons chase 10,000 people, but they will put them to flight, which means that the impacts from 2 partners' efforts if the Lord is in the center of the partnership will not only be beyond exponential in numerical terms, as you put it, but will be more intense and extensive in its effects. Isn't that amazing and fascinating?
So if one chases 1,000, two put to flight 10,000, what will three do? That blows my mind. Certainly, the biblical view of synergy from partnership is very fascinating.
I tell you, when we understand the promises of the Lord behind these biblical principles, that could make us high-impact instruments for the Lord in our workplace and marketplace. Imagine that level of synergy and impacts if the partnership is done right and the Lord is in the center of the partnership.
So audience, the Lord Himself wants us to forge partnerships to work and support each other with biblical mindset. And if the partnership is done right with some of the biblical insights we have received from our eminent experts and the Lord is in the center of that partnership, we will have synergy and impacts that would surpass what we could have gotten from our individual efforts. The Lord has made this provision for you and me. The ball is now in our court to take advantage of it. I pray you do too. Let's appreciate our eminent experts for the great job done. If this Footprints conversation has been a blessing to you, pass it on to be a blessing to others. Are you a believer committed to fulfilling your professional calling at your workplace and marketplace? We have several resources to help you do that. Just subscribe at the YouTube channel for you to receive new resources we create every week. If you have creative arts talents too, get in touch and let us yield it to the Lord to use it to impact lives for His glory.